What's up guys, Atlas Jackson here with another video. In today's video we're going to be doing a mid-fade. Right now I'm using my trimmers, balding out the area. This is going to be the lowest point of the fade. Right now you just want to make sure all the hairs are even and you're not missing anything. So like I said, we're going to be going in, no guard open, flicking out. Try not to create too harsh of a line because it just makes for a harder problem later on in the fade, trying to get that line out. Right now you'll start to see me adjusting my clipper, closing my clipper up as I go down the fade as needed to that bald line, opening the clipper back up if needed, just so I don't create another line of demarcation, and try to push that fade up and really trying to keep that fade as low as possible. Now I'll be putting my number 1 guard on, starting open as well. I always start with my guards open, flicking out, try not to create a harsh line at the top of that ridge there. And then the same thing with the no guard closed, or with the no guard, excuse me. Just closing it up as needed. It's not going to take that total bottom line out, but it'll definitely lighten it up. Also, once you have your 1 guard on and you're close all the way, you kind of want to use those corners. That's what I'm doing right now. It looks like I'm using the full blade, but I'm really shifting left to right on the cutting blade, just to make sure I'm not making another harsh line and pushing the fade up. I got the 0.5 guard on now, doing the same steps, open to close, using my corners a lot just to lighten up the area. Next guard up from that is going to be the number 2 guard. Same process, about a 1/2 inch, flicking off the head. Trying not to cut too much into that comb over area where the hair is bulkier. We're going to end up going up to our 3 guard and working our way back down and detailing the cut a lot. But I'm really trying to keep that bulk, flicking off as I go up the head, trying not to cut it. Now I have my 1.5 guard, working under that 2 guard and closing the lever as needed, making my way down to where I had my 1 guard open, and it should lighten that line up quite a bit. I'm probably going to end up dropping down to my 1 guard again and detailing. It looks like that line's going to be a little dark for the 1.5. When I'm detailing the cut, I'm really just using the corner blades, just trying to lighten up those dark spots, trying to cut through the thickness of the hair. If you see those patches, it's because the hair is a lot more dense, so all I'm trying to do is cut through the thickness and try not to push it up, making another line of demarcation to try to. Now I have my 3 guard on, just attacking that ridge, trying not to go up into the bulk of the comb over, coming off the ridge like as if the head was a box, and just blending into that 2 guard open, starting with my 3 open and closing it up. After this, I am jumping over to the other side. I'm not really quite sure what happened to the video here, but same process. I just balded it out, no guard open, working it closed, 1 guard open, working that lever, open to close, putting my 0.5 on and detailing. Right now I have my number 2 guard on and I'm just flicking off the head. I'm trying to keep the bulk on that ridge where he gets his comb over part, but his hair is super thick. So I'm doing my best to try to keep it as low as possible. Now I have my 1.5 guard on, just working under that ridge where I have my 2 guard open. You can kind of see where that ridge starts, where that 2 open is, and I'm just working it closed. For me, my process of the fade is just to get through the foundation pretty quick and then go back through and detail. I probably spend about 15 minutes at the cut just setting in the foundations, and then another 15 to 20 just detailing the cut, cornering, detailing, opening that lever, closing that lever as needed, just kind of flicking at lines, trying to cut through the bulk of the hair. So on this side, I apologize, but the camera kept focusing in on the Jack Daniel bottles. I still gotta play with my camera. It's the first couple videos I've done, so it's gotta be something in the settings that I'm just missing. But for this, you're gonna be balding out, making your first initial guideline like you did on the sides. You can kind of see where your initial guideline was on the right and left side of the head. So I just kind of started 2 points and just match them together. Stay underneath that occipital bone, keeping the shape of the head. Same steps as last time. No guard open, flicking out about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch on the back of the head. You usually got to go about 1 inch. It's a lot thicker on the back of the head. And work that lever close little by little, working your way down to that first initial guideline. And again, guys, I'm sorry for the camera unfocusing. I'm definitely working on it. This is only the first couple videos I've ever made, so I'm gonna really start grinding at this. Now I got my 1 guard open, flicking up. Right now you're not really gonna have too many lines because you already kind of broke it down. You can tell it's a lot thicker on the back of the head, so this is where you're really gonna have to detail. Right here, you notice I kind of slowed down. I was starting to get a little frustrated with the hair back here. It just wasn't cutting. So sometimes you gotta slow down and let that hair feed through your clipper instead of forcing it. And you can see I'm pushing that line up little by little, just working that line. I know another barber I have, he likes stretching the skin when he's fading. I personally don't like that. I feel like I always push the fade up too high. You'll see me do it a couple times here, but I'm really just trying to cut through that thick hair with the last couple teeth on my clipper. I got my 1/2 guard on now, just detailing, trying to really lighten up that occipital bone area. As you guys know, the back of the head is definitely a lot thicker, a lot more dense for some reason. And like I said, this is my first voiceover, so let me know what you guys think about the video, what I can improve on, and what else you guys would like to see. I appreciate it. Next, we're going to be fading the side of the beard in. I started with my 1.5 guard just to see what the length of the side is actually going to be. Usually you probably don't have to go to a 2 unless it's a super thick beard. If you're using a 2, you got to start working from working down the beard, like going with the grain instead of against. And this is going to be the same process as the fade, just backwards. So I started with my 1.5 guard, open, closed it up, went to my 1 guard, open, closed it up. Now I'm at no guard, starting open obviously, and then closing it up little by little as needed. Then I'm going to start chipping away at the C cup, trying to get it as even as possible and get it lined up with the beard as close as I can. I like to keep the client's beard as full as possible. Unless they say they want a really sharp line edge up there, I just kind of keep it natural. You know, get all the straggly baby hairs off the cheek. This is my first time here switching hands, try to do that vertical bar. I was trying to figure out how to keep my arm out of the camera. So yeah, I was a little nervous there, but we figured it out. Same thing on this side. I started a little bit backwards just because I had the trimmers in my hand. So I started with the C cup. Now I'm trying to line up the back side of the beard, and then I'm going to start my fade process. So same as the other side, 1.5 guard open, close it up. 1 guard open to close, no guard open to close, working my way up until it's faded out. Same thing on this side. I like to keep the beard full as possible. As soon as I do that razor work, kind of ties it all together, cleans it up, makes it look pretty sharp without pushing his beard down so he can fill it in. Finally, my favorite part, a little bit of razor work. I'm not perfect at the razor yet, but I'm still working on it. I've only been cutting for 2 years. I went to barber school, right out of barber school, opened my own shop, started building my clientele. Never worked in a shop before, so I'm starting from ground zero. This client here has been with me since the day I opened, so I really appreciate him coming in. We always have good conversation. He's a really good guy. So that's the cut, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel, press that like button. I really appreciate you guys.